You point out just two things. The bottom four sections of the pyramid, if our tech guys don't mind bringing that back up so it's up there while I'm talking. The bottom four sections, if you look at the arrows, are labeled lifestyle. The top two sections are labeled healthcare. So we're teaching people to live the lifestyle as the primary choice and the healthcare as the secondary choice. That you'll have a lot less symptoms to manage if you're doing daily habits. The bread and butter of your business is at the bottom of this pyramid. It's the lifelong vitality, right? And so anchoring this, Allyse has some great scripting in your manual for you about the Wellness Console, and how I love how she says, you know, she's putting in a plug for LLV and talking about why it's such an anchor product further into the conversation. And then at the end, she's like, okay, so let's talk about what you want to order, and obviously you're going to get the LLV, right? Like, you love the assuming the sell thing. Like, obviously we've already established that's a no-brainer. So not only is this the bread and butter for your retention, for your residual income, but this is the bread and butter for their wellness program for themselves. So earlier yesterday, we learned you tell them what you're going to tell them, you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. So you're going to want to use that same process of conversation through this guide. Now right here, on page 3, where the pyramid is, there's little boxes next to the pyramid. This is an opportunity, if you haven't done this with them before, and even if you have, self-assessment is everything. Because the whole thing is, I want to make this about you, right? So I'm actually going to be able to cater the rest of this conversation with them, and I'll know where to place emphasis and maybe where not to spend so much time if I've already got a little bit of an idea of where they are. So to not take the opportunity and skip over this is a real loss in your ability to individualize this conversation for them. So let them assess themselves briefly on this page. From there, you're then establishing with them some of the basics. I call myself a tour guide at this point. I'm just going to take you on a quick tour of the doTERRA lifestyle. The next few pages are going to go with each level of the pyramid. So notice they're color coded. And I'm going to place my greatest emphasis again on that bottom level. That in doTERRA, we're well taught that when we get nutrition into our bodies, our oils work better, and we've established that baseline of daily habits, that things tend to go better with our mood, our pain management, our energy, and so LLV is the core of that program for us. So then I'm going through, and in here I have the chance to drop little drops like, oh, we also have children's products. And again, depending on how they rated themselves is going to depend on how long I might camp on a certain page or where I might make an emphasis, but I'm a well-trained tour guide, right? I understand my products, I understand the levels of the pyramid, so I'm able to just say, you know, small and simple things as we go through. If I choose to go on this tour here, mostly this page is about feeling comfortable in your own body while you're moving your body. How can I have my hinges working properly when I'm exercising? How can I have more energy? And how can my weight management help me and my body image help me feel more comfortable in my own skin? The next section of the pyramid is that rest and manage stress. So on the one side, I'm emphasizing the tools. Remember tools, right? They've also hired the products to do a job for them. So one of the things that's so useful is during this tour to just plant little seeds about where they can place products in their home. So right here, where would you want to position a diffuser? Is this something you want to be having around you, during your workday? Is this something you want near you at bedtime? What oil would you want to have nearby? Because out of sight, out of mind. And so when we can place our products in places where they remind us to make them a part of our life, super useful. And then if I want to make an emphasis on mood, I might introduce doTERRA's emotional aromatherapy and talk about how to target certain emotions. And moving on, I'm going to teach them about more intermittent opportunities to use our products through something like our cleanse, and plant the seed that maybe that's something we'll do down the road. I really like my consumers on a wellness foundation program, which is why I'm emphasizing so much and camping so much on page 3, is to really establish that baseline. I'm always seeking, my whole presentation is centered around the Healthy Habits Kit and then the upgrade to natural solutions. So then I'm segueing that right into a lifestyle decision here with this conversation. And then as time and energy permit, so first I want a wellness foundation. Second, I call that in with the good. Second, I want to do some house cleaning with you. So let's set a goal in your second 30 days with your doTERRA membership to maybe look at doing a detox program. And that's something you could look at doing quarterly. I'm planting seeds in their mind with possibilities. And so that's our out with the bad. And then let's look into your household and see where we can do in with the good and out with the bad in your home. Like, let's start looking at cleaning and body care products. And I'm introducing the fact that doTERRA even has those products, but just in brief, because a picture speaks 1,000 words. So this is mostly just a picture book of possibilities, and I'm only going to land and spend time with emphasis where I feel like, based on how they graded themselves on the pyramid, will teach me. This last section informs self-care of our pyramid, and again, I'm teaching them what the pyramid means through this is, hey, this portion's about two things. One, life happens. Life has little emergencies, and so one of the things that's really awesome is just to go packing, right? Locked and loaded all the time with your essential oil solutions, a little something in your purse or backpack is a wonderful way to live, and then you're always that ever-ready mom or dad, with solutions. And then the other part is to teach them that we can do targeted support. This page is designed to be oriented specific to the most basic oils in every kit of doTERRA. So they can see that, hey, I bought lavender for this because I heard it was really good for sleep, but in the picture book, it's just planting in their minds that, oh, it actually does more jobs than that. It gives them some exposure for that. And then lastly, the next step here is to now summarize all of that in part 2 and help them move into this daily wellness plan and maximize their membership. So I want to emphasize that you're spending time, introducing the lifestyle. You're giving a quick tour, and then you're landing the key portion of your conversation is regarding the wellness daily plan. And so prior to that, this is sort of a menu board page, which is just summarizing and allows them to go back and choose from as you're putting together their daily wellness plan and planning LRP orders together. This is just sort of like your menu board at a fast food restaurant, and you're assembling your hamburger or whatever. And so they can go back and reference that, and it also gives you an opportunity on the bottom to introduce them to LRP kits as it's appropriate. Now, this is the crux of the conversation, the wellness consult here. And so as part 2, again, you're teaching them how to integrate what they have into a lifestyle plan. Whoops, that was not the slide I wanted. Back step. What happened? There we go. Okay, so on this page, you have an opportunity to, again, center on what are their health priorities and to help them write that down. Now, the first place you want them looking is at what they have. We earn the right to get people to buy more products, right? We don't just automatically go, hey, I'm so glad you bought your initial order, now let's hurry up and get you some more product. So by having them record on the opposite page, what did you purchase, so that we can draw on that, and that's what the instructions say on the wellness plan, is let's look at what you have, because I want you to use what you have, and let's see how it plays into what it is you want to work on. Now, what's going to naturally happen is they're going to see gaps. Because again, they thought about themselves, they thought about their family, they thought about their priorities, and they have some things in mind, and the first thing they're going to fall in love with is you're going to show them how to use what they have and integrate it into this daily wellness plan. But naturally, there's going to be things they don't have. You're going to look things up together in the book. Well, let's look that up. Don't be smarty pants and solve all those problems with just answers off the top of your heads. There's words on the page they can read to help them decide. Or again, let's look that up together, because one of your biggest jobs during this interaction is to teach them how to look things up for themselves. Because the most important thing you're doing, again, is you're painting a picture that they see themselves in. And so when they can confidently have that experience with you, your job is to teach them to think and solve for themselves. Because it wasn't part of your business contract that you're going to set up a sign and have a flashing neon light that says, I'm open 24/7, so be sure to call me with any health problem you have so I can fix it for you. That is not what we're doing, right? What we're doing here, again, it's been modeled so well by Allyse, is we're teaching them how to find solutions for themselves. This opportunity, this conversation is critical. It's why the wellness consult is central to our first follow-up conversation, is you're helping them implement. Now, not everybody knows this, but let me teach you. In that purple section, you're teaching them how to fill in. And again, read your instructions from Allyse in your book. She's teaching you to talk through this with them and then plugging in the products that you're discussing into their daily time, right? So they know how to use them. At the bottom is already pre-written when to use all the products that are on page 3. So if somebody has purchased and signed up with the Healthy Habits Kit, for example, those products are already plugged in for them, and that's where you can circle and emphasize the value of lifelong vitality and how we stress that as being critical in their business. And then as the conversation goes, you start to pull ideas down into the bottom of the page and start building with them. Let's do this with what you have now, and then let's look ahead. All right, so you brought up, Johnny and his inability to focus in school. And so maybe you've shared about Thinker. And so then they jot down into that next month, well, let's pick up Thinker for Johnny on your next month's order, and things like that, right? So you're teaching them how to plug that in. As the latter part of part 2, which is how do they use what they have and maximize this membership, we're going in and then we're teaching them about loyalty rewards. And again, this is about them being loyal to themselves and to their health and their wellness. We're teaching them how they can customize and buy extra items and tie them into that LLV. If you haven't talked about the value of LLV up to this point in the conversation or in your class with them, then they're not going to get this page. This isn't going to make any sense to them, but when you've already established a baseline of value, then they can see how cool this is, that they can pick it up for a discounted price because they're still buying it in a bundle, and then they can add extra products and teaching them to customize. You're also going to want to emphasize for them some key things about their membership, and Allyse has some great points. I jotted these down so I could be sure to mention them. They're all in your book. But some of the key points that are happening here in this portion of the conversation are, 1, you're teaching them the smartest way to buy, to continue to buy below wholesale. Number 2, this is a great way for them to appreciate the opportunity to try new products. Number 3, you're teaching them how to customize their order. So you're going to want to jump on and help them set up that first LRP order and put that together and teach them that they can change it and customize it as ideas come to them. You're going to teach them to earn loyalty rewards points and how that works. You're going to teach them how to earn shipping points as well. And by all means, we want to teach them how to earn the free product of the month. One of the points that Allyse emphasizes in your manual, and I really like this, I'm just a big fan of this concept, is when you're looking up a health problem, a health priority, whatever it is they're focused on, and they're looking it up in the book and you're discovering, any guide is going to have a multiplicity of suggestions depending on where you're referencing. I really believe in a power of 3. I know that sounds like our compensation plan, but as an essential oil expert, I will tell you that the synergy of a trio is the magic. So don't have them purchase more than 3 products for any particular health issue. It's just unnecessary to go beyond that, but 3 together, and to focus on one thing and to really give it some energy and to make it a priority, because that can help them clear out other situations. So I really love that emphasis of the 3. And then of course, as you're helping them set things up, you're teaching about, when it's LLV, you're teaching them about the return policy and the guarantee on that if they haven't heard that yet from you. And then again, all this process, because they've now set up that LRP order with you, they now have the opportunity, they've earned the free book. And so that's a great hook to getting them to move through this process, is because you've offered the book up front during the close of your class, and then you're segueing that in and now rewarding them in that moment because they've kept that commitment. And then of course you have a few usage tips. We don't want people putting oils in their eyes. We don't want them slathering themselves in bergamota and then going out in the sun, and the next thing you know, we're posting, they have a post on Facebook of how they got burned with citrus oils. You get the point, right? So going through usage tips is vital. And then we're back to that final page, and this is the third portion of the conversation, is to make sure that they feel connected to community, to resources, and that they know that they're not in this alone, and you're connecting them with the proper information and helping them fill that on the backside. You're also getting them connected to continuing education or Facebook groups, both preferably. Whatever you have to run your community and to provide continuing education, you're only as good, again, as your next interaction. And so you want to make sure they're going to continue to interact with you and know where to find that value. One of my favorite things for this page, outside of my invitation, is to invite them to this to become who they are and what they do. As I say to them, I have to warn you that you're going to fall so in love with this that you aren't going to be able to keep this to yourself. So let's just plan ahead. You've likely already thought of people that you know and love who could benefit from this. And so let's think about them. And one, is there anybody you could refer me to that I could help out? You've got some great scripting in there from Allyse on that. Or can you see yourself hosting a class just like the one you attended? And so you have an opportunity to move them into an option for hosting, and then also into an option Once again, remember, they've possibly already seen your introduction to the business. You're reiterating that because sometimes they need to have those offers multiple times. I'm sure there is 100 million other things that I could say about this. I hope I've given you some great ideas to think about. My time is expired, but I just want to offer you one last thought, is once again, additional interactions. So make sure you've set the intention to have this interaction within 10 to 14 days, because you want that 14-day move. So make sure you're having this interaction within those first couple weeks, and then follow up again with them 30 days, 60 days, 90 days later, and have at least one more wellness consult, maybe at that 1 month or 2 month mark, and check in with them in between. How are things going? Because here's why. One of the things you're experiencing in this room is the first, and thanks to Seth Risen May for teaching me this, is our first level of anything. Think of yourself as a parent, for example, is to teach obedience. One of Allyse's skill sets, her ninja skills, is to teach people obedience. Then, once you tell them what they need you, these consumers need you to tell them what to do and also to invite them to think for themselves. They'll start doing it. About 2 weeks later, they're going to come back with, so, I was thinking, what do I need for this? And where should I put that? And how many drops? And they go to exactness. That once people have been given the safety zone of being told what to do and they experiment upon your word, they start asking questions. And when the asking comes, you know they're progressing to exactness, because now they're wanting to refine their experience. And a little bit more interaction there. You can't believe what 2 interactions like this will do versus 1. Because that confidence will give them the ability to move into, just like all of us, this is who we are, and this is what we do. So my invitation to you is to create an environment in which people can thrive and can see themselves in it. Thanks so much for the time together.